Hello, 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 and welcome to another wonderful episode of the Slamcast. I'm your host, Greg. Let's get right into it. First off, I want to thank all of our lovely listeners for listening to last week's audio filth. I appreciate you all sticking up for the what's the word I'm looking for? Appreciate you all sticking around and listening to however long you listened to, and all the people who gave me feedback. You know who you are. Thank you very much for that. Definitely taking that in consideration because I want this to, I'm just making it for fun, but I want it to be decent to some degree. I want to have some decent quality to it. So, I guess this is episode 2 of the Slamcast. Hold on. Let me check. The guys in the I gotta ask the guys in the back something. Hey guys, we calling this thing up? Is this episodes or is this an episodic thing? Yeah, I don't know. They're shaking their heads. They're shrugging their shoulders. They have no idea. But it's a radio show. I got guys behind the scenes. I got audio engineers. I got sound designers. I got the whole. It's a lot of them. Hold on a second. Hey Mark, get the fuck back to work. I see you, piece of shit. I'm going to fire his ass after this. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Yeah. Pack it up, Mark. Anyways, sorry about that. It's a one big happy family we got here at Slamcast HQ. You gotta keep it together, keep it wholesome. But yeah, got a few things I want to talk about this week. I also realized a good thing to do as the week goes by is just take notes on what to talk about. Because honestly, last week, all that stuff was more or less off the top of my head, at least the topics anyways. So, yeah, that's a lot harder to do than you would think. But, I want to try and keep this, I want to talk as little about behind-the-scenes stuff as possible. So from here on out, I'm going to try and keep that to a minimum because I feel like I did that a lot last week. But that was my first episode, so that's understandable. But yeah, I'm going to try and keep a list of things. And also, like I said last week, if you guys have any suggestions on topics you want me to talk about, feel free to let me know. I'll be sure to talk about it next week. So, yeah, first topic. Let me just... this really weird commercial that a buddy of mine sent to me. Shout out to Eric for sending this my way because I actually lost it and I just had to message him and have it sent back to me again. It's an A&W commercial and it's very weird. I'm actually going to play it. Hopefully it's not too loud. Alright.
At A&W, all our chicken is raised without the use of antibiotics, even the new Chicken Buddy Burger. You good?
Alright, so the reason this commercial is so weird, I don't know how much of that you guys heard, but it is legitimately, I'm gonna leave the actual video running. I'm gonna put the volume down even though there's really no audio after that. It's called Chicken Buddy Burger Long Walk. It's by A&W Canada. And it's legitimately that main guy who was always in the commercial is just talking for like less than 30 seconds. And then, like he said, he's like, are we good? Are we done here? And he's like, yeah. And then he literally just walks away. Like, he's in camera, probably for the next 5 minutes. But he just walks away, and the thing just rolls for 5 minutes. And there's no punchline or anything. It just kind of rolls. And it's kind of unsettling, at least when I saw it. I'm going to try and leave a link in either SoundCloud or YouTube or whatever so you guys can check it out. Because honestly, it's super hard to find. I tried searching it just before I started recording, and man, this thing is hidden. A&W Canada does not have the best YouTube channel, so to speak. I mean, I'm not one to talk, but I mean, it was very hard to find. Again, shout out to Eric for sending me the link. We wouldn't be having this discussion. So yeah, I'm still running this. I'm still watching this commercial. I can still see I don't know, would you call him a mascot? Would you call him, I don't know what you would even call the A&W guy. I guess you just call him the A&W guy. But yeah, he just walks away, and I'll let you guys know when it ends, but it's a whole 5 minutes of just, I don't know, it looks like some campus ground or something. I don't know where they're shooting this. But yeah, it's really interesting, and it's funny because the first time I watched it, I skipped through most of it because I thought there was like some punchline at the end or something. But like, I actually found it kind of uneasy, or it made me kind of uneasy at first. And I think one of the main reasons is because of those, those Adult Swim like infomercial things, like Too Many Cooks and stuff. Like they like to use these gags a lot. They always end up being something really messed up. And also just the fact that like commercials are always so like in your face and like get all the like what's the word I'm looking for? It's like sensory overload. That's the word I'm looking for. It's always like some degree of like sensory overload, but he literally just walks away, and I actually think I can still see him. And like all these people's faces are blurred out, so I guess they just left the camera running, made sure nobody would like knock it over or anything. And it just goes. And now, now I want A&W because this is kind of like an awesome marketing campaign, even though I don't know, were they expecting this to go viral or something? Because it only has, 50,000 hits is a good amount. Oh, it's so weird, though. You guys honestly have to check this out. It's really weird. It's like, this is great. It's like this and Old Spice. Like, these are the two best marketing teams. Well, this one commercial, obviously. And then with Old Spice, it's like the Old Spice, man. And Terry Crews just being Terry Crews. Like, those are like the top marketing campaigns, because after the whole Old Spice guy like left for a bit before they brought him back, Old Spice had some pretty weird commercials. That is the truth. That is a fact. Yeah. And they have it every once in a while. They have a little banner pop up for the Chicken Buddy Burger, but like, it's not in your face or anything, and it just showed up for like 5 seconds, probably less. So yeah, I don't know. That's really all I had to say about it, but I really think you guys should check it out, because it's just so out there compared to what normally you see. And that's the thing, like, I guess they would just put this on the internet. Like, you can't have a 5-minute commercial on cable television. But, like, you also couldn't have this as an ad before. Well, maybe you could. But it'd have to be one of those skippable YouTube ads, right? It's so weird. Oh, and it's ending. So, yeah, that whole time I was talking about commercials. It was just running the whole time. Just kept going. Just kept going. Didn't stop. Nothing happened. He literally just walked away. The A&W man. He is the man with the plan. The A&W man. So yeah, I guess 5 minutes is good enough span to talk about that commercial. Seems pretty fitting, seeing as how it was literally 4 minutes 59 seconds long. Yeah. Highly suggest you guys try and find it. What was the name of it again? I hope this doesn't get loud. Titled Chicken Buddy Burger Long Walk. I don't know. I tried looking up A&W Commercial, and like I couldn't even find the A&W channel itself. So I'll try and put up a link or something. But yeah, really just odd at first. At least I thought it was odd at first, but now I find it kind of endearing, because it's just like, so I'll just take a break from the typical commercial and let's do something out there, you know what I mean? Some avant-garde shit. Alright, so to bring the tone down a little this week, we lost a few good men. And I was gonna, so first David Bowie, and then Alan Rickman, and like, So earlier this week, I had this whole like thing I was contemplating talking about with David Bowie, but now that Alan Rickman's passed, I feel like going into that would kind of be douchey, because then I'd just be, giving one man the spotlight and kind of pushing Mr. Snape, Mr. Snape, Alan Rickman, to the side and kind of ignoring him. So I kind of won't get into that, but I'll get into something that kind of added to the brainstorm later on. But it's really shitty that it happened. Not going to dwell on it too long. David Bowie, Alan Rickman, both masters of their craft. And my condolences go out to their families. I won't dwell on that too long. I had this whole bit about David Bowie with how he's a weird guy, and like we should all be a little weird. And I was never really into either of these guys, like heavy into them. Like I knew a few David Bowie songs, but I was never a major fan. And Alan Rickman, I only really knew him as Snape. And I actually saw Die Hard for the first time this past Christmas Eve. So Hans Gruber, and that was he did great in that role as well. So it's always kind of weird to see a celebrity passing when you kind of aren't heavy into like the stuff that they've made or the stuff that they've done, but like you clearly know that they like had a big impact on their industry. They were definitely like icons, to say the least. So yeah, because there's no positive way I can really kind of jump out of this topic, which I kind of knew would happen. So I'm just gonna move on. Next topic, the Pina Colada song. And I know that's a weird jump, but hear me out here. When David Bowie passed away, the next day on my way to work, I decided to listen to the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack, because one of his songs in there, what's it called? Hold on, I'm going to just double check. I don't want to say the wrong. Yeah, Moonage Daydream. Great song, by the way. Great song. But then also on that soundtrack is this shitty Pina Colada song. And I don't mean shitty. I'm going to start coming in hot here, folks. So, strap down for a second. This is going to get a little intense. I don't mean shitty in the sense musically. Like, it's a fairly good song. There's nothing too terrible about it. It's pretty uppity. It's got a good groove. Musically, it's great. It's a good song. However, have you listened to the lyrics of that song? It is so weird, and it doesn't make any sense to me, and it like hurts when I think about it, man. It hurts. So for those of you who may have never listened to this song, or those of you who've never listened to the lyrics, it's basically a man who is sick of his woman, so he finds basically the equivalent of a Craigslist ad in his newspaper about, I don't know, hooking up with some chick. And then he goes to meet this woman, and it turns out it's his wife. So they both wanted to cheat on each other, but then since he met up with her, like, they kind of just laugh it off and like fall back in love with each other. It's just so confusing, and I don't get it. I don't get it one bit, and it makes me angry because it doesn't make any sense. So let's put yourself in that role. Let's say you're married, or let's say you have a significant other, and you're sick of that person. So instead of just breaking it off, you want to make things worse by cheating on them. And then you find an ad or a Craigslist or a Tinder to make it more modern. And then you go and then you meet up with somebody, and then it turns out to be your significant other, and then you laugh it off. You literally go, oh, what a conundrum. I'm going to fall back in love with you now. It just, it's hurting my brain. I need to stop because I feel like for the rest of this podcast, I'm just going to keep repeating that scenario over and over again, and it's not going to make. But like, do you guys get me here? I don't understand. I don't understand. And like, I'm not saying like, oh, like this generation's music lyrically is like so much better, because in some circumstances it's not. Like it's a little better. Like I'd say that's probably it just in pure weirdness. It like just it doesn't make sense to me. Like both wanting to cheat on each other, like fine. I guess if your relationship's so shit, or you're just both so bored of each other, like I'm sure that's happened in real life before. But to meet up with each other thinking you're gonna go and cheat on your significant other with somebody other than your significant other, and then meet them and then be like, oh, it's fine, we're back in love again. Oh, I'm getting way more fired up about this than I honestly thought I would be. But yeah, it just confuses me. I don't know, maybe I heard the lyrics wrong. Maybe somebody can correct me and say, hey, Greg, you're an idiot. It's not about that, it's about this. But, I mean, the lyrics are pretty literal, and the last time I listened to it fully, which hasn't been in a while, mainly because of... Oh, yeah. I don't know. Also, shout out to my brother who also ruined that song for me, because the last time I listened to it, he like repeated the lyrics over and over, like after they were said, in like more of a narrative tone, if that makes any sense. It's kind of hard to explain. So now every time I listen to it, I can hear my brother repeating the lyrics after they're said, the way he did it initially. So now I just can't even listen to that song. So Andrew, if you're listening to this, you screwed up, kid. You goofed it. You ruined it. You goofed it and you ruined it. You know what? I'm going to move on. Itchy back. Hold on. Came in hot there. Stayed on fire. Need to cool down a bit. But yeah, speaking of Tinder and Craigslist, I learned about this new messaging app called Kik, which is spelled K-I-K because, let's be honest, startup companies, startup electronic software app companies, whatever you want to call them, some have got some pretty shit names. I'm not saying Kik's a shit name, just the spelling's kind of weird. And also the fact that it's a messaging service. How does kicking, like, you want to kick somebody out of your conversation? Like, that's honestly the first thing that comes to my head if it's a messaging service. Like, you're going to kick somebody out of your conversation. That's why it's called Kik. But in reality, as far as I can tell, Kik's just... I downloaded it. It's on my phone. I've looked through it. I haven't talked to anybody on it because there's only like one person in my contacts list who also has it. But from screenshots and other things, it just looks like Facebook Messenger app, which honestly, I'm not going to lie, it's a great app. When it first came out, I was with the majority of people, and I was like, why do we have to download a second app when it was already on the Facebook app? I don't understand. I was one of those people, though, who was like, I'm never gonna download it. Like, I downloaded it right away. I'm not gonna lie. I was just confused at the time. I was like, alright. But, now that I've downloaded it, it's kind of the optimal app, mainly for this reason. It's not the greatest messenger out there. That used to be Skype, and now Skype's kind of garbagey. Or at least in my opinion, Skype was pretty decent, because you could edit messages. Once you could edit messages in Facebook, like, it's back on top for me. They added that whole GIF thing, which is pretty cool, but they need to put that into the actual web browser, because that's kind of annoying. But I guess if you're on your computer, you could just Google search a GIF and post that. But anyways, kind of getting sidetracked here. The reason Facebook Messenger is an amazing app, in my opinion, a messenger app, is because it's on your phone and it's also on your computer. And neither of them are extremely obtrusive. Like, I tried getting the Skype app on my phone, and whenever I would go onto the Skype app, even though if I read stuff, I'm pretty sure this is how it was, even though I'd read stuff on my computer on Skype, it would still tell me I hadn't read it on my phone, which is very shitty. And, like, every time I would load it, I would have, like, 99 plus, like, messages waiting. So it would just take forever to load. And, it was so garbage. But then you have Facebook Messenger, which is simple. It's not super obtrusive. It connects with your, like, account. So if you've read it on your desktop, you might still get a little notification thing, but the second you open it, it'll be gone. And if I'm at work, I could talk to my buddies through Facebook Messenger, and if I'm at home or if I'm just out in the middle of nowhere, I could talk to my buddies there, because me and my buddies, Robbie and Anthony, basically have a group chat in Facebook Messenger, and just basically wherever any of us are, we can always chat to each other. And that's like the main appeal for me about it, is like when I'm at work, I don't know if I could download Skype on my work laptop, and so I can quickly check on them at work, or when I'm out in the middle of nowhere, I can message them. And not just them, literally anybody. Out in the middle of nowhere, I can use my 3G, and I don't have to worry about like it taking a shit ton of data, or if I have Wi-Fi wherever I am with my phone. Like, it's just good because you can use it anywhere, is essentially what it comes down to, on desktop or on phone, and neither of them are super obtrusive. Now they've added this weird Chrome. I don't know if it's just Chrome, or I think it's just Chrome for now, but you can get notifications through Chrome. So if I'm on a different tab and somebody messages me, most of the time it'll work pretty well, where it'll show me the message in the bottom corner, which is pretty decent. It gets a little annoying though, because sometimes I'll be quicker than the actual notification, and then the notification will pop up like 5 minutes later, and it's kind of like... Also, I talked about that way longer than I was expecting to, because I was originally talking about Kik. So yeah, Kik, it's basically Facebook Messenger, but the main difference here is that it's kind of like the new Snapchat / Tinder thing, is what I'm getting. I've slowly started to realize that I'm not a teenager anymore, so I'm starting to be behind on what is the tech-savvy thing to get. Like with Snapchat and Tinder, and now it's Kik. And Kik is essentially just used for sexting. That's as far as I can tell. That's the only thing I can tell it's used for, because now everybody uses Snapchat. So you don't wanna send a dude your Snapchat username, because then, I don't know, then you have to deal with him for the rest of your life. Oh no, and you didn't like him because he's not a good kisser. Oh no. But I don't know. And then Tinder, I don't know why people don't just use the Tinder Messenger thing. Tinder has a fine messenger. I don't get why we gotta... Pretty sure you can send nudes through that. I don't know why you gotta send nudes through Kik. That's the thing that confuses me. It seems like, I don't know, maybe because it's slightly anonymous. Because you get like your own username or something. Like it's not, or is it your normal name? I don't know. Like I said, I barely use this. Somebody who's a teenager and gets to sext all the time, please message me. I'm very lonely and I need to stay in touch with the teenager kids, or else I'll feel old and then I will want to kill myself. That is what it comes down to, folks. I'm a sad man with my own radio show, and I fire people because they don't do their job. Mark! Mark's a piece of shit. And if your name's Mark and you're listening to this, I'm sorry, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about imaginary man in my head. Oh, breaking down the fourth wall, Greg. Now you can't do funny skits anymore about people behind glass. Shit. People behind glass, because that's how radio shows work, right? You got the dudes behind the glass with the little knobs and stuff, like when you're at a studio. And you got DJ Khaled behind the microphone, and he's like, another one. You know, keep it solid. Gonna have weekly DJ Khaled references. Come back every week, folks. Another one. Key to success, etc., etc. Alright, enough of that. I don't even know what that was. That just got places. Alright, Powerball. Boom. Boom! Powerball, baby. Everybody's been talking about it. Canadians have been loving it. Americans have been loving it. Everybody's been loving it. DJ Khaled probably been loving it. Powerball I find very interesting because there's a whole bunch of stuff going on now that it's massive. Before, when it was like $500 million, seemed like most Canadians were like, whatever, I don't care. I don't know why Canadians sound like that. Excuse me to all people who I've ever talked to, basically ever. Second it hit $1 billion, all of a sudden everybody in Canada was like, well, got to cross the border, got to buy 1 billion tickets, I'm going to win it. And then there's always like, oh, taxes and stuff, and there's some weird laws going up with being brought up about America, and like apparently if you buy a ticket in America, it's cool, but the second you bring it over the border into Canada, like you're kind of screwed up because some weird American law, and like you could potentially just like fabricate the ticket because you cross borders. Like, I don't know. Apparently the second you cross borders, that's when the ticket's been fabricated, not just, in your basement with like a printing machine or some Photoshop stuff. Which, now that I think about it, it's actually pretty funny. But yeah, no, second we hit $1 billion, it was like, oh shit, time to get real. And you know what the hilarious thing is? Canadian dollar, it's kind of in the shitter right now. We all know it. Let's not beat around the bush here. Canadian dollar's in the shitter, right? This whole Powerball thing, pretty intense. $1 billion American dollars. I don't even know what it's at right now. Let me check. Powerball winnings. I don't care about after taxes. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Wait, did somebody win? Oh shit. Oh shit, I think somebody won. Oh. Anyways, whatever. Apparently from Tennessee or something. Whatever, I'm going to keep talking about it. Apparently it was $1.6 billion. So the thing is if a Canadian won that, and ignoring all these weird rules and laws and stuff that America's put up that might potentially screw us over from winning, like, because of how shit our dollar is, that comes to like 2-point-something billion dollars. So it's like Canadian dollars. So it's like you're basically doubling your money. And I know there's taxes and everything, but even with taxes, I know American government or Canadian governments can take a shit ton of money. That's still a lot of money in the end, though, right? Like, I'd be pissed because I think you end up losing like almost half of your money, or like a large amount, but still, you've got hundreds of millions of dollars. You don't have to worry about that anymore. Put that into a nice investment, and you don't lose the stocks or whatever, and then you can go back to like $1 billion. It's that simple. That's how money works. Take money, you put it somewhere, and then you get more of it. I took economics twice, people. I know what I'm talking about. Take your money, you put it somewhere, you come back to the money, suddenly there's more money. It's perfect plan. Can't go wrong. Foolproof. Anyways, yeah, it's just amazing, and this whole Powerball and like the discussion around it it's amazing, and it's just funny because like the same thing happened with Lotterio or something a few years back, and like everybody was freaking out, and it's not the actual lottery that like gets me. It's more like the discussion of like people just start getting all like dreamy eyed and being like, man, when I have that amount of money, it's like they start planning it out as if like somebody went up to them like a week ago and they were like, you have like a 1 in 2 chance of actually winning the Powerball, so you better plan it just in case. Because like, that's the thing too. What's the point of planning it out? Like, the second you have $1.6 billion, like, you can take the rest of your life to plan out what you're going to do with your money. Actually, though, unless you spend it all on the most expensive drugs and women and planes. I don't know why. I feel like planes are the most expensive mode of transportation. I feel like buying planes would be like, what are the quickest ways to spend a shit ton of money? Maybe charity. Actually, that probably makes sense. Or like just investing it in something. But I mean, flat out spending it. I mean, well, I guess with charity, you're not actually spending money because you're not getting anything. I mean, you feel good. That's what you get back out of it. But I don't know. Does that count as spending money? Because I feel like charity would actually be like the quickest way to quote unquote spend your money, even though you get like charity taxes and stuff, so you get most of that money back. So maybe it's not. I don't know. If anybody knows, are there any people who used to be billionaires, now they're not billionaires anymore? Hit me up. Let me know how you spent all your money. Because I find that more interesting than actually, well, not more interesting than having money, but it's, now it's in my head, it's kind of piqued my interest. I'm kind of curious as to how somebody would go and spend all of that money. Alright, I'm just checking the time here, folks, and we are at the 30-minute mark, and I'm actually surprised. I didn't think all these topics I'd be able to get through all of them, but I got pretty damn heated about the Pina Colada song, because that song can go down in a fire. Lyrically, it can go down in a fire. If they changed the lyrics, I'd probably be all for that song. And they kept in the Pina Colada chorus, because that's probably the pinnacle of the song itself. Because, I mean, that's the one part of the song everybody remembers, right? You like Pina, etc., etc. You guys know the rest, whatever. I actually think I'm just going to call this episode the Pina Colada song, because I feel like that's kind of hilarious. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, folks. Hope you had a lovely time listening to my soothing voice. If you have any suggestions of what to talk about next week, let me know. If you want to join in on a conversation sometime, let me know. Love to hear back from you. Have a lovely week, folks.